Good afternoon, Pilot fans, and welcome to another edition of Sports Talk with Rags here in Season 4, Episode 30. And today, here we are joined by the head baseball coach of the Peninsula Pilots, Hank Morgan. Hank, how you doing today?
Great day to be alive. It's almost opening day. Sun is high. Had the first player show up about 45 minutes ago. That's why I was a little late getting to you, but thanks for your patience.
Oh, sure, no problem. And let's start right there. I mean, with the Pilots, it's collegiate summer baseball, and it's the players live in host homes, right?
Yes, sir. By the way, if anybody's speaking of which, if anyone's listening and has a big heart and wants a fun, a good, enjoyable, and fulfilling time with a guy chasing his dreams, we're still looking for a few. But yeah, so the guys come from all over the country, and we have people in our wonderful community that open up their homes just looking for a place for them to sleep. The hardest part is tolerating some late arrivals coming back in off the road. But we've been very blessed with the quality of person that we've had play for us. I mean, we've had a lot of great players, most of which are from Western Branch, right?
Thanks. Yeah.
We have had a lot of great players, but we've had a lot of great people, including all those Western Branch schools.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing is, yes, you do want good ball players, but then also with host homes, you also want that ball player that is a good person off the field as well.
Yeah, Dad and I have to eat dinner and go to church and share the roads with everybody that we live with. So we want them to act right for sure.
Right. And, since we started off here with the Pilots getting ready to open up their season, and it's the 25th season here in the CPL. And for all the listeners out there say, wait a minute, the Pilots go back longer than that. When we were growing up, the Pilots were connected with the Carolina League, and a second baseman by the name of Brett Boone played there, and his son came to play here recently for you.
Yeah. Now, have you been doing some homework on this year's team? Because you're touching on something right there that's interesting.
Okay. No, the thing is that's why I wanted you to come on, because I haven't been able to, while I was doing my homework, I haven't found.
Been keeping it close to the vest. I don't want the opponents to be able to do too much homework on us, right?
Right.
You're right. So I won in 1992, I think, was the last year that the stadium had an affiliated team, and it was the Seattle Mariners. And it was, I think, the year before that, maybe 91, the starting second baseman was Brett Boone.
Right.
And as you said, his son came and played 2 years for us here in 2020, 2021. And then went on to play some pro ball, and he's still playing some independent baseball. He's doing really well right now, as a matter of fact. But the guy that played to his right that year was a guy named Desi Relaford.
Yeah.
Made it to big leagues.
Right.
I'm going to say 6 or 7 year career. Got up initially with the Mariners.
Right.
But like a really nice ball player. He was a puppy. He was like 18 years old when he played for the Pilots, and I was 16.
Right.
And I came to near about every game I could get to because I really love watching those guys play. And his son, Jevin Relaford, is coming to play shortstop for us this summer.
Nice. Yeah, that's, and I know, I mean, yes, there is a website not only for the Coastal Plains League and the Pilots, but, with starting here Memorial Day weekend, you don't really know. I mean, the early commitments based on their college teams, you really don't know who's going to be opening day roster.
No. And that's also, years ago, we used to try to make press releases as we sign guys. And we were always getting so many questions as the season was going. Like, whatever happened to, more people that signed didn't come than signed that did come. So we kind of tried to hold our excitement until we see them darken the doorway.
Right.
So with that in mind, like it's this, so getting the host families lined up is up there with one of the more difficult things we do, but navigating this desire that our league has to start the season so early.
Yeah.
And navigating the NCAA and junior college and NAIA schedules is right up there in terms of difficulty, in terms of figuring out how it's all going to work. I mean, we have Old Dominion and James Madison and VMI. All the D1 guys, their conference tournaments start tomorrow.
Right.
And they run the 22nd through the 25th. And even Christopher Newport won their regional, and good for them. How awesome is that?
Right.
So happy for Frage and Harvell and Andy and all the kids. I mean, that's a cool accomplishment. So they're going to be late. That their World Series runs from the 31st of May through the 6th of June.
Right. Right.
And the D2 guys are the same, June 1st through June 8th, and then NAIA June 24th through May 24th through May 31. So, and we start on the 20. So, it's not. I think we have 16 off days in our schedule. I'd much rather play every day and start later, but they don't let me make the rules. I just have to try to follow them.
Right. Yeah. And the other thing that you and your dad and all the workers here that help you guys. I mean, one of the things that you guys have done, I mean, when Elizabeth and I have come to the game, if we don't come, half hour, 45 minutes, we're parking along Pembroke Avenue. I mean, just the response and the marketing here of enjoying, a great atmosphere. You guys definitely, pack them in.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you saying that. That could be because they knew you were coming, but
right.
and I mean that sincerely as well. Like, I've always thought it was really neat to have a place in the community that you could go and see your friends and be seen and catch up, and you end up adding to your bucket of friends. And I don't know, there's nothing wrong with being outside and doing something healthy and just being with each other. And the guys do a great job of putting on a good show. You mentioned our staff, and there's turnover in that every year. We do it small, but we have kids that are hungry, and they're just like the players. They're trying to, carve out a pathway in promotions or entertainment or hospitality or sports. And so it's cool to watch them get better as the summer goes along too. Our show gets better as the summer goes along.
Right.
We don't have a lot of recurring staff, but the cool part is that, like, no matter what day you come, you're going to probably see somebody you're going to see a bunch of kids playing the game hard, sometimes imperfectly, but always hard. And if you think about what's the purpose of sport to begin with, in my mind, it's got a lot to do with taking your mind off of your problems for a few hours and being joyful. And that goes for the players and the fans.
Yes. So, once, the team affiliated there with a Major League Baseball team, they moved, or, what was your dad's vision here of bringing the Pilots back there with the team through the Coastal Plains League?
I think Dad would probably give you a much more thorough answer, but I can tell you that some circumstantial evidence or detail around it, and a little bit about, I think, where his heart was and is. But he was serving on the Peninsula Stadium Authority in 2000, and we had a women's fast pitch team that came in. They were called the Virginia Roadsters.
Right.
They used to take the infield out so the apprentice school would play their season. As soon as they were done, strip the grass out of the infield, put the clay down, temporary fencing, and then we had a women's professional Major League fast pitch for 3 years. I want to say it was 97 through 2000.
Right.
And that's when Dad was serving as the chairman. So, and that came right after a period of 7 years where the stadium was just not being used. So I think he felt a pull. I know he'd had a lot of experiences in his life, just like we have out here, and it means something to him. And he'd made some promises to some older fellas that had preceded him, and that if he ever had the resources to do it, that he would do everything he could, and to keep it alive. And I think he deserves just a ton of credit for being the impetus and the guy with all the spirit and the guy that was shaking the pom-poms and trying to get people excited and effectively getting people excited. But he had an awful lot of help along the way. We've had some great partners in the city.
Right.
And the shipyard, the apprentice school deserves some credit for being there with us as well. And being able, and then obviously the fans and everybody that supports it, because we were able to, now you're able to demonstrate to the city that there's value and it's real value. And so there's a guy named Herbie Morowitz that was on the board before Dad. The CPL came to the Peninsula Stadium Authority and to gauge their interest as to whether or not they would be interested in putting a team here. They were interested, but they needed to find an owner, and no one local stepped up. So for 1 year, it was owned by a man named Dave Dittman, who was from Rhode Island.
Oh, okay.
And I want to say he's involved with, or was involved with, the Newport Gulls up in the NECBL as well. But so he only operated it for a year. Long story for a different, maybe audience, but the league was threatening to pull the franchise after one season, and that's when Dad stepped away from the Stadium Authority and bought the team from Dave.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, my brother Mike Ragsdale graduated Western Branch in '91, but
William Mary Tribe, right?
Yeah, William Mary Tribe, and he had to go to Winchester, because there was no local summer league, and but the Coastal Plains League, I mean, it definitely gives you experience here with possibly playing at the next level after college, because the league has grown, and 15 teams. I know you guys play the Chili Peppers and the Wilson Tobbs a lot, but those bus rides definitely give the players some experience of what the next level would be.
Yeah, I want to touch on that with you if you don't mind. Before I do, it's funny you bring that up, because 1997 was the first year of the league, and it was only 4 teams, I think.
Okay.
And everybody was going to the Valley, and if you were good enough, you're going to the Cape.
Right.
So when it first started, I had dreams of playing for the Wilson Tobbs, believe it or not, and I just want to beat them.
Right.
They had a cool logo and a cool old ballpark that reminded me a little bit of this one up here. And,
right.
So Pete Bach was the founder of the league. He's not with us anymore, but and anytime you're in business with folks, there's imperfect days and disagreements. But what a good thing he did getting this thing started. As you said, so many more opportunities for guys, and in good quality opportunities too.
Right.
Where there's enough operators in this league that care about baseball. Henry's the best one, but
yeah. So
I'm biased. But in terms of the quality of players, I mean, from really early on, Ryan Zimmerman played here in 2000.
Yeah.
So we were still really young as a franchise, and
right.
we were able to obviously, it was nice that we were close to Virginia Beach for him and his family.
Right.
But how lucky were we to kind of get going with guys of that stature, and the line of guys that have been able to springboard off of their colleges and then this platform into professional baseball is pretty long.
Yeah,
it's about 300, 11 or 12 major leaguers.
Right. Yeah, and the thing, and when you guys go on the road, I mean, back when we were growing up and players playing in the summer league, you worked camps during the day, or you worked a morning job and then you played at night. Nowadays with players staying in shape, it's like if you have time during the day, you have time to work out, but then you have to drive to the stadium, take a round of BP and then hop on the bus and go up to Colonial Heights or go down to Wilson and get ready to play.
Yeah, we have a new kind of semi-regular opponent in the league now in Greenville, North Carolina. We just added a franchise, so that'll help too, kind of give some more variety. So it's Wilson, Greensboro, Tri-City, which is in Colonial Heights, a little bit of Morehead City, a little bit of Martinsville. So it's a little bit more variety in it this year, but to the point of the schedule, I guess maybe the guys are a little bit better today. I think than I'm only going to speak for myself.
Right.
They're better than me. They're better than I was. and maybe part of the reason is that, I don't know, culture has gotten to the point where, they can afford to do it that way. But I think it certainly helps to be able to dedicate yourself to your fitness and training and eating and
right,
all that goes into getting stronger and faster. We do have a few guys that do it the old school way, though, that go to work, in the morning, and then our day typically starts here between 1 and 2.
Okay.
Where every now and then we'll find we've got a great guy that's a box seat holder here that's got a landscaping business named Tom Morris, and he puts a couple of them to work. And Billy Hobbs over the years has put them detailing cars, and they've been good about letting them go and get here.
Yeah, and and then also just talk about here with Old Dominion here recognizing you here with the Bud Matheny Award, and not only that award being part of Monarch baseball of someone in the community, but also win an award that your dad won a few years back.
Yeah, pretty neat. Humbling is the first word that comes to mind. I think I said it that night. I must have been an off year in the Hampton Roads area for it to fall to me, but I love my dad. He's a good man, and if they thought he was worthy of it, and then they think I am, then that says a little something. But there's a lot of other guys on that list too that I have a whole lot of fondness for, and gals too. Sandra Pickens is in that club too. So I just, I love Fanny, and I love Dr. Seelig is a good man, and I root for Old Dominion, even though I wasn't good enough to play there. And it means a lot. I know a lot of people that played for Bud, and I know the culture that Bud created there and kind of what it was about. And a lot of it is just pretty simple when you say it. He just loved baseball, and he promoted baseball and tried to make it better for people. And I think that's all I've ever really tried to do. I've been blessed. I'm lucky. I really am. So I have a hard time talking about it. About that. I just I'm not used to getting recognized like that, and I kind of like it.
Yeah. Well, and then also, I mean, what about here the last couple years? I mean, having Trey being able to play for you.
Oh yeah, man, that's been, speaking of blessed. It was never by design. I'm not sure if everybody realizes that. I've always prided myself and have taken some pride in Dad's approach to this. I mean, we don't give these roster spots out to people that don't deserve them. We get some things wrong. We miscalculate some things, but the intention is to give it to people that are deserving of it, and we certainly are. There's enough suspicion of nepotism with the two of us being involved that. And the third layer was, a little nerve-wracking, but Trey earned it.
Yeah.
That boy's earned it. I mean, he came out here as a high school senior when we were in need, and I think the first time I gave him the ball, it was extra innings. It was the first year they changed the extra inning rule. They put a runner at second base.
Right.
And that's the first time he pitched at the college level, and he hadn't even graduated high school yet. And he got out of that inning without giving up a run. We won the ball game, and well, we actually didn't score in our half, and he went out and did it again. So I mean, I don't know. At that point, it's like, okay, well, whenever he graduates, let's see if that little left-handed turd is available. Let's get him out there and see if he can help us. And he's an undersized guy, and he was under recruited, and but he loves baseball, and he went out and just kept working at it. I'm so proud of him. He did a good job.
Yeah, and your staff, I know, you pretty much have consistency here with most of your assistant coaches.
Yeah, another blessing. David Mitchell's been with me for a long, long time, 10, 12 years probably at this point, maybe 14. It's been a while. And, we played together growing up. And he's now over helping Joey Seal at Nansman, Suffolk. And Dave's wonderful. He's got the right heartbeat for it. And guys enjoy being around him. And he's really good. My best trait is not organization. So he's he's got some strong administrative skills, and I need people around me like him.
Right.
And Sergio Miranda, who played for me, played for Paul Keys at VCU out of the Puerto Rican Baseball Academy. Paul signed him and sent him to play for the Pilots in 2000. I'm going to say 2005, right after Zim. Okay. He went off and played a pretty long professional baseball career, and played in the Puerto Rican leagues and whatnot. And he's good. We've got a fair amount of Latin influence on our team now, and it's awesome having him around for that. But Serge's background is in the infield defense, and he was a shortstop, and he was a switch hitter. And David, Sergio, and myself, all three prided ourselves in being able to handle the bat. So we like to be able to hit and run and bunt and hit behind runners and situationally hit and handle the bat, because I feel like that's the first step to solid contact. See it, get the barrel, and then you start adding a little bit to it, and maybe you got a Jackson Holiday, but it starts with putting the barrel on the ball. And we've had Brett Mays helping us with the pitching side for the last 3 or 4 years, and he did a great job. He's been hired away from us, Norfolk State, and he's doing well there. I know they're going to turn that thing around before long. And so, an announcement on Rags' show. So we got coming back to as our pitching coach is Chris Oxenfeld, who is over at Bethel High School.
Right.
And he'd been with us for a long, long time. He played in the Dodgers system. And and Mike Moore has been our chaplain, and he'll help during pregame at home when we're at home. He's been with us for nearly the whole time. He's since early 2000s.
Right.
So everybody in that group has been here for a while, kind of knows what we're trying to do here, and fosters, I think, a good connection between our players and our fans, because they all want the same things we do too. And 2 of them have extensive professional baseball careers, to their credit, so it gets the players' attention, a little differently. And every one of them loves getting their hands dirty and working with guys. So
yeah, and just talk about here your experience here with being the head coach. I mean, when the team came 25 years ago, did you ever think you would get the call to be the head coach?
No, not at all. It never even crossed my mind. I mean, no. Short answer, no. I was working in Annapolis, Maryland, for Nolan Company as in a management and sales training program to start with, in the plumbing world.
Yeah,
heating and air conditioning, plumbing, wholesaler, and ended up coming to doing that for a year and a half, and got a sales territory in Williamsburg for Newport News, Williamsburg, for well pumps. They were starting a new division. So I moved back to the area, and while we were in Maryland, I came to the Pilots game because Dad had gotten involved.
Yeah.
And it was the year that Miami had won a national championship, 2000.
Okay.
And the catcher for the Pilots was the same dude I watched on ESPN in college. The pitcher for the Pilots was the same dude I watched on ESPN. And we had four: a second baseman, Chris Clute, Greg Lovelady, Chris Sheffield, one more, another arm. But I was like, wow, that's kind of big time guys that are down here playing in the old wooden yard.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I think that's cool, Dad. I like what you're up to. We stayed in touch. So he had some issues with somebody in the front office a year later, and he needed somebody that he could trust. So he asked me if I was interested, and I said, "What? Baseball? Yeah, I'll do that." So we started. I was the GM from 2001 until 2007.
Okay.
So I had a hand in hiring coaches, and I helped a little bit with the coaches in terms of recruiting, putting together the team.
Right.
But my duties were, a lot more on the business end of it, tickets and support, sponsorships,
Right.
things of that nature, concessions, lugging kegs from one place to the other.
Right.
And I had hired Matt Reed partially on recommendations from several Old Dominion guys. Ryan Morris at the time was there at the time as an assistant. And he had already coached our team, and we loved him.
Right.
And he recommended Matt. Matt came in, did an awesome job, took our team, got the first postseason victory under Matt in 2006. He took them all the way to championship game. Heartbreak, long story, doesn't matter to anybody but me. But the rules of the tournament were such that we got beat by a team we'd already beaten in the tournament once, and we were each 3-1, but they were the champions. But whatever. But so he came back and coached the team in 2007, and then we were down at the All-Star break in Columbia, South Carolina, with a group of kids on the team, and Matt and Jeffrey Scott, who was helping me at the time as a GM. And he got called. He got hired by Army, West Point, right then. He was like, "Oh man, great news, Hank." And Henry got hired by West Point. And we were, "Oh, that is awesome. Let's go." And he's like, "Bad news, though. They want me there tomorrow." So we were like, "Well, you better go." I mean, we weren't even thinking about necessarily at that point what we were going to do next, but you got to get out of here. That's a great opportunity. And so he did that. Wayne Gums was our pitching coach at the time.
Okay.
I'm sure all y'all know Wayne that are listening. Right. And the Dad and I's first natural thought was like, "Wayne, let's go. Wayne's just let him be the head coach. He's already familiar with the roster a little bit. And they're going to look up to him, and it'll be good." And Wayne was passionate about it, which I really appreciated from Wayne. He was fresh off of a major league career, and he came into this environment, and he loved it. I don't care if he might not admit it to you today, but he loved it. Like, he got just as excited, as any of us did on game day, and he was good to the boys. So, we called Wayne, "Hey, we need you, dog." Well, he's like, "Well, I'm in Philadelphia with a group of kids, or somewhere in Pennsylvania, with a group of RBI kids," and he had them in a tournament. But we had a game the next day.
Right.
He wasn't going to be back for like 3 days, 4 days.
Oh.
Long story short, the bus was idling outside of the office on the way to Petersburg, Virginia. And at the last second, it was just like, "Well, I guess I'll go."
You're it.
And so check this out. We get there. Starts raining at 6:10. Rain delay. Game doesn't start until 9:05. Okay. 2-hour rain delay before you start the game. That's almost unheard of today. Game would be canceled.
Right.
Game goes 17 innings.
Jeez.
Pilots win by 1. And it's the last pitch is thrown at 10 minutes after 2 a.m. in the morning. One person left in the stadium. It was Frank Pesinello's girlfriend. He was the first baseman for the Generals. She was asleep in the stands by the end of it. 2 o'clock in the morning. That was the first one. And so I was able to go and coach them for 2 or 3 more days, and we had a pretty good run going. The team was on a good trajectory, and at that point, it just kind of became about not disrupting them again. And the rest is history. I've been in that seat ever since. I'm not sure how much longer, but I've really loved it.
Right. Yeah, and it's definitely a family thing, because I know that your father-in-law's been involved here with the pictures, and now with Trey, being able to play for you. But let's
Yeah.
see. So it's $8 a ticket, and any other things to point out here this year?
Just want to real quick talk about that family thing real quick, because I got some
Yeah.
girls that are involved in this thing that are pretty important.
All
So
right.
Mama Sue,
Yeah.
she's always doing something to help out. My wife Tara,
Right.
she's willing to do anything that we ask. Ralph not only takes the pictures, but he's our host family coordinator. We got aunts and uncles too that are big in our host family network. So
Right.
it's I want to make sure that I've mentioned those guys,
Right.
because I mean it, and they've been extremely helpful. Ballpark has got a brand new video board. It's sweet.
Right.
So the size of what you saw before, that had a scoreboard and some advertising and the tiny little message center and the clock, is now all video. We got a couple good young guys working on the content there. We think it's going to be really good. So we're really excited about that. We had there's been some pretty significant renovation of the old concession stand, so we're hoping that helps get some lines moving a little bit better. Those are the two big kind of bigger size investments in the off season for this year, and then we've got something in the pipeline every year. We haven't ever had the resources to hit it with like a big shot all at once.
Right.
So it's been a phasing thing ever since we started, and those phases are continuing, and the city's been very helpful in all of that. So we're going to have to get serious about it next year, because we might be hosting some of the Monarch games over here.
Right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, with not only having consistency of Monarch players coming over, I mean, come next year, yeah, it might be a temporary place for home Monarch games.
Yeah, we've told them that we're here for them. We've got some scheduling to work out with the principal, but I think we can get it done. And I think it'd be cool. I would like to get more people on the Peninsula exposed to their product too, because when they finish with the Bud, it's going to be a pretty cool place to go watch a ball game. And I'd like for people from this side to feel like that's their home in the springtime.
Yeah. Yes. And I mean, I love it here, being here since '87. But yeah, like the Greenbrier, Virginia Beach folks, with HRBT, and then even here on the Western Branch Suffolk side. I mean, the last couple times Elizabeth and I would go to a game, we ended up having to do the JRB, because Monitor Merrimack gets to be a parking lot.
It's always something out there. And I'm not casting any aspersions, but I don't know if I believe the finish date of the HRBT. And it's always going to be something. Hell, we're I guess we're conditioned to it at this point. It's almost an expectation, but I appreciate y'all making that effort there. That just on the other side of Monitor Merrimack and just on the other side of the JRBT is pretty good little base of pilot support. Right. And you can, from Western Branch, you can get to this place probably easier than you can from Williamsburg.
Right.
And same thing with the James River Bridge, but any given day it could be a zoo.
Right. And with bringing up Western Branch, I did text Garrett Brooks, because I know that he played for y'all, and you guys ended up winning the title when he was on the team.
Are you surprised? We had Garrett Brooks on the team.
Right, that's right.
I mean, he was a heart and soul guy. He was one of my absolute favorites, like, of all time. Just the boy played hard, and he always had a smile on his face. You ever see him not smiling on the field? I mean, not outside, not between the lines.
Right.
He was smiling, and he's willing to dive for a ball. He's willing to bunt. He's willing to hit and run. He did whatever it takes to win. That's why we won. And,
right.
We had enough kids like him on that team.
So any other roster kids to point out, or let's see, when do you guys actually open up? Is it Friday or?
So we got them trickling in today, and the first wave will be here tomorrow.
Okay.
And then we play Thursday. And I don't even know who they are yet. No, well, many of them I don't. I mean, so I guess quick highlights. There's a fair amount of returning guys on the team, and then so I'll hit some of them, and then I'll hit the guys with some local connections to the area. So from Norfolk State, a couple left-handed pitchers, Dalton Barham and Nate Varnier, both have had success for us. Barham was arguably our best pitcher last year. Trey Morgan's coming back for one last hurrah. We got Marcus Ducks from CNU once they finish. Brian Arreyu's back. He's going to be our opening night starter. He's from College of the Arts and Sciences in Oklahoma, but he's a returner and is a good one. Caden Oxenfeld, Chris's son's a high school senior at Bethel, committed to JMU.
Right.
He's been up to 95, and so we're going to give him a shot and see how he looks. Sam Rochard is back. He started at Virginia Tech and has been at Tennessee Wesleyan for the last few years.
Right.
2 years. He's a dog. He's a good one. He's coming back. Let's see. Cole Stanford's back for his third season with us. He's a catcher, outfielder. He's a hitter.
Yeah.
I told you about Jesse Relaford's boy. Chris Martinez, our third baseman from last year, Dominican kid that can really swing the bat. He's back. Henry Garcia is a fun ball player from last year's team. Is back. He will be in the right field. And then once all the conference tournaments are done, Ryan Dooley from James Madison. Hoping for Fenwick Trimble. Don't know. So you have Ethan Ott. You have a lot of guys that are going to be in that Fenwick Trimble situation where the draft could be called. So it's going to come down to whether or not they want to play to improve their stock between now and then, or they want to rest. So it's going to be some wild cards still out there, but we feel good about the group. And then a lot of guys I didn't mention that are going to be here for the first time. I want to highlight the guys that have been here before we know something about, because who knows? Like I said, I don't know everything about these guys quite yet.
Yeah, and Ethan, there with being from Greenbrier Christian, and he's at New Mexico State now, right?
Yeah, or New Mexico.
Or New Mexico. Okay. Yeah. Well, Hank, appreciate your time for coming on, and you guys have a great season, and we'll have to look at our schedule, look at your schedule, and come on out and catch a game. And to all the listeners out there, go to PeninsulaPilots.com and take a look at when the Pilots are home. Great atmosphere and great baseball for any age.
Thank you, Mark, for putting us on this time of year and getting that out. It's a big deal. And also, from a personal perspective, I appreciate being able to listen to your stuff. It's always fun watching you with your guests and being able to catch up.
Well, thanks. And you bring up Ryan Morris. I just got off the phone with him about an hour before we started, and he said that he would come on here sometime this summer. So
he'd be way better than me. He'd be good.
Well, hey, appreciate you coming on, and especially with the team celebrating 25 years there in the Coastal Plains League.
Bless you, brother. Appreciate you.
Sure thing. And all right, fans. So that's Hank Morgan, the head coach of the Peninsula Pilots, and y'all have a great summer season here in 2024, and go Pilots.
Thanks, sir.
All right.